Moderator Raymond for your introduction. Comrade Mark Golden, our next Prime Minister. Give him a round of applause. Big him up every time. Such an astute fellow. Comrade Isaac Buchanan. The last time I came to Portland was my first time speaking on a political platform. Isaac, I recognize the work that you have been doing here. Very good work, and I've supported that work from day one. And you too should continue to support the work that he is doing out here in Portland. Comrade Ralph Taylor Wright. Don't mind Alfred, he doesn't understand. If there ever was an incubator for leaders, not just for Jamaica and the Caribbean, it is the land of Tayloria. It's written in the mountains. Written in the mountains. Comrade and friends, also have to big up my colleagues who are here, Comrade Dawes and others. Chief Curry, big up yourself every time. Welcome as well. Comrades, last year the Jamaican economy declined by 1%. What happened was that it started growing in the first half of the year, but by the time it got to the third quarter, the economy declined by 3.5%, and by it got to the fourth quarter, it declined by a further 1.8%. Now, many of us hear about economic growth, and we hear about economic contractions that lead to recessions. And currently there's a big debate between the JLP government, the PIOJ, and the Oxford Dictionary as to what a recession is. The dictionary says that a recession is 2 consecutive periods of negative growth. But the government tries to mask their definition by saying that there are other factors that contribute to a recession. They go on by saying that they have been increasing employment, so we should feel good that more people are working. In a country like Jamaica, of such remarkable people, people with such high ambitions, people who want to see the future of the country resembling that of the United States of America, resembling that of a Mauritius, a Singapore, resembling that of a modern metropole that provides the right level of resources. Dr. Dawes came, he spoke about healthcare. Damien came, he spoke about education. These pillars are what determine what a modern country looks like. Currently in Jamaica, over 60% of the population has no diploma, which means that they did not graduate from high school. And what my research has showed is that our inability to grow rests in one main factor: our productivity. Over the last 3 to 4 decades, Jamaica's productivity has been on a steady decline. And along with the decline in productivity is the real wages. They look like a one-to-one graph going down a hill. And why we have to mention productivity and wages? Because productivity is what drives the wages of a country. The more you produce per hour, the more you can sell, the more you earn income, the more income is distributed to the people who produced those goods. And it is important because every year we want to see the country grow. And we talk about growth, right? It's a big thing in the news every time. Jamaica wants to grow. I mean, in 2016, the government came out and they said that in 4 years, they envision that the country is going to grow by 5% per annum. It has now been 9 years and the country is experiencing negative growth. Jamaica is what is called a small island developing state, a SID. And being a SID, it means that you're susceptible to negative as well as positive shocks from external economies. It seems that the negative shocks have been impacting us more and more and more compared to the positive shocks. Now, I want you to think about the economy and think about what is it that you want for yourself and what is it that you want for your children and your children's children. Think about an economy that is growing less than it did last year, but it's employing more people than it did last year. It means that we have our people working without the right compensation, because it's like too many cooks spoil the broth. More people being employed and you're producing less. Some of the people need to get out the kitchen. The heat is on. Jamaica has far more potential than that. From a macroeconomic standpoint, my research has shown that the productivity is impacted by two main factors. One, human capital development, which is the level of education of our people. And two, the level of corruption that has been taking place in this country. And we cannot stand on a platform and speak about the leadership of Jamaica without talking about the negative impact that corruption, the negative impact that the embezzlement from government programs, the negative impact that the three-tier contract system, 20% here, 20% there, 20% there, only 40% left to do the work. This has to stop. And that is why I'm happy that we have a leader like Mark Golding, a man of integrity, a man of character, a man who does not see the budget as a purse to rob, but as a man who will invest in the country with all his effort and his ability to make Jamaica a better place. The People's National Party is coming to change the face of Jamaica. The People's National Party is going to put in order all the industries where they ought to be. We face challenges in healthcare. When you look across the country, and Dr. Dawes said it, the level of technological and innovational inputs that we need is just not there. In Montego Bay, where I am, the Cornwall Regional Hospital is a disgrace. CT scan, people have to leave the hospital to go get that done privately. Sometimes not even a simple x-ray they can get done at the hospital, and this has to change. Our young people are disenfranchised from the current way they are being taught. They are seeing the future ahead, and we are holding them in the present and the past. With the advent of the fourth industrial revolution, AI, Internet of Things, now more than ever, we have to position our people to take full advantage of where the world is going. And let me take you back down memory lane. In 1950, technology represented 0% of China's GDP. At that time, countries recognized the technological boom that the world was going to embark on. China, Singapore, Japan, Hong Kong, Taiwan, even the simple United States took full advantage to include technology in all their industries. So you're talking about technology in healthcare, technology in education, technology in agriculture, technology in finance, which is very important. Fast forward to today, technology represents over 32% of China's GDP. If I were to ask you what percentage of Jamaica's GDP is technology today, you could not answer. And you cannot answer because it is not measured. So the first thing we have to do is to do an audit of the technological inputs that are needed to assist each industry to improve on their output. In order for us to infuse technology, we have to have the human capital to do so. Over 25,000 Jamaicans migrate every year, our youngest and our brightest. When other countries have programs in place to attract youngest and brightest and to keep the youngest and brightest, Jamaica have programs in place to deter the youngest and brightest from even participating in the labor market. So many people see me and say, Andre, what are you doing in Jamaica? The country is so backward, your skills are so forward, come here. And I say to them, I did my PhD between 2007 and 2011 when the world itself was going through a huge financial crisis. When the world is going through a financial crisis, you tend to wonder what is the impact that this crisis is going to have on your island home. And I thought about it, and much of my research speaks about it. Look at how asset prices impact the economy. Looks at the interest rate pass through from the central bank to the commercial bank to the consumer. And what we have been seeing is that over the last 5 years, macroeconomic policy, especially monetary policy, has not been facilitating to growth. And what do we mean? We have what is called reactive monetary policy. So we only change interest rates when America changes interest rates. I said to them, listen, if we want to boost output, we have to make investments cheaper for our investors. What is the price of investment? It is the interest rates. So if you are coming out of COVID-19 and you believe that you need to increase interest rate to prevent capital flight, you also have to understand that that increase in interest rate is going to deter investment. Because when a man has interest rates of 6%, it's easier for him to borrow money than an interest rate of 10%. So we have to now understand that money is the engine of growth where investments are concerned. So the central bank also has a role to play in facilitating how the economy grows. We have to begin to look at how fiscal and monetary policy can work together to create the change that Jamaica needs. Fundamentally, and it's not just a Jamaica problem, intra-regional trade in the Caribbean is less than 10%. The lowest in any trading bloc across the world. When you talk about intra-regional trade, you're talking about trade between countries. In Europe, intra-regional trade is over 40%. Why? Because you have Germany making the cars and they sell the cars to the rest of Europe. Then you have France making the wine and the liquor. They sell that to the rest of Europe. Italy is making the fashion. They sell that to the rest of Europe. England make the empty containers, send them to your country, full them and then take it back. So each country is producing a product that is demanded by the other countries around them, and as a result they can trade and earn an income. In the Caribbean, most of us produce the same goods, and as a result it makes it very difficult for us to trade amongst ourselves. A couple of years ago I wrote a paper, myself, Dr. Emmanuel and Dr. Knife, establishing the Caribbean cannabis economy. It's in drug and alcohol policy today. You can go and check it out. We recognize that the cannabis industry, ganja of which we speak, has the potential to earn for Jamaica over 11.1 billion US dollars per year, which is over like 70% of our GDP. And not just for us, for other Caribbean countries to come into play based on their topography. We can grow a type of ganja that is good for Alzheimer's over in St. Vincent. We can grow a type of ganja that is good for cancer over there in Dominica. We can grow a type of ganja that is good for ADSD over there in St. Kitts. And we can grow a type of ganja that is good for a different type of cancer in Jamaica. And we can trade amongst each other where those medicines are concerned. We have to begin to think about the goods that possess value. We cannot expect at any stage to want to produce low-valued goods and trade it for high-valued imports from abroad. We cannot expect to grow low-valued agricultural crops and trade them for high-valued technology goods from abroad. Jamaica has a lot of potential, and as a government, the People's National Party is dedicated to dichotomizing, breaking down the challenges that we face economically and putting the buffers in place to ensure that Jamaica does not remain on this 1% that it has been on over the last 40 years. Time come for better industries. Time come for infusing technology in our industries. Time come for leadership who understand the challenges of the country. Time come for us to recognize that out of many, we are one people. And it's not just providing resources for the rich, but it's providing resources to elevate the poorer class of people and move them up into what we call the middle class. And it is our mantra. The middle class now, based on my estimation, is 10%. We need to bring that to 50%. And this PNP government is dedicated to improving Jamaica's middle class and to raise our standard of living and our income from a mere $7,000 per annum to over 13,000 US dollars per annum. And it is achievable. Time come for change. Time come for difference. Have a wonderful evening, comrades.